All right, folks, video 3 of 3 here. NVIDIA. If you were in the live, we forecasted it dropped to 107, and I said if it does go to 107, it's at risk of triggering something to the high 90s. They overshot. This is the company with the biggest company with the best P&L I've ever seen in my entire life. So, and they're selling it like it's, toxic. This should tell you the level of sophistication in this market. There's none. Potential target, if not above 126, they did that and then some. 118 was the huge pivot where we tracked. So we fell from 105. 105 target is here or lower. Mid 80s will be the target if I'm eyeballing it correctly. Why is it so low? Because it moved in a parabolic manner. So let me zoom out. When a stock moves parabolically, I don't care how good the P&L is, you have to obey the laws of physics at some point. What I was saying is the longer they delay it, the harder the fall. So it's not that the company is crappy now. There's fears that tariffs might affect this business. It might, but I think it has enough sales that it can find a way to fix it. So if I'm an investor and I bought shares at 110, 112, I'm not doing anything right now. If I'm an investor that wants to get involved in it, I would take no more than half the position and add the second half under 80 if it goes there. I mean, the breakout from 2023 was huge. It was May of 2023. And then it took another leg higher in 2024. That's the stupid one. So look on my chart all the way to the left. May of 2023, right here. May of 2023, they reported shrinkage in sales, but they announced that by the time they report next time, their sales will be almost 40% more. I said there's no way they can do that. So the stock rallied 30% right away. And they did deliver that. And then delivered it again. And then something happened here. I don't know what happened here. AI. That is the stupid rally right there. Stupid as in that's the risk on the stock right now. And it's right below us. Luckily, they had this little dip. So I would say it should be bulletproof to 76. This should be the bottom. But if it overshoots half of this, I wouldn't be surprised. So 65. What are you saying, Nick? I'm saying that there could be an opportunity to enter a lot lower, so don't put all your money in right now. That's all I'm saying. Just in case the market goes super stupid, you don't want to empty all your bullets right now. That's all I'm saying. This would be an excellent investment idea for the future if they haven't been lying. I already shared that. Yes, I bet you can sell it in the 50s. And if you're not an active trader and you have cash you want to deploy at 50 and you sell it for, say, next January at 50, what's wrong with that? I don't know the numbers, but we'll look at them when the market opens on Monday. Okay. NVO looks like a long, but I don't know anything about the business. This is the diet shot company. The one thing that scares me is regulation. I don't know. It could be awesome. It could be terrible. P&L is fantastic. Look at it. Why is it selling like it's going out of business? So please do your homework. Somebody do your homework and tell me. I don't have time to do homework. I want to go along this stock, but I honestly don't know if they're a one-trick pony. So if this diet thing goes away, are they out of business? So that's what I want to know. Based on the P&L, it tells me that whoever's invested in it, they don't know what they're doing because they were buying it at 144 and now they're selling it like hotcakes at 60. So 48 looks like a solid floor. That's where they bounced last 3 times. They bounced, and exploded. So quick and current ratios aren't great. I think it's beyond that. I'm not asking financially if they're stable. I know they are. But I'm asking the business. Is it live or die? I don't know. You guys are not answering my questions. I don't expect anybody to know the answer right now. I'm saying do your homework if somebody has time and resources to find out the risk on the business. not the financials. I can do the financials in my sleep. The business, I don't have time to research the shots. Are they legal here and not legal there? Are they going to be banned in the US? Blah, 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 blah. All of that. They bought another company and problem with the test. Okay. So anyway, on paper, this is a buy the dip moment into 48. OKLO. Oh my God, what is going on with these companies? It's painful to see these. Okay, I wouldn't touch this company. There are no sales, nothing but spending. This is an investment thesis, obviously, for you. So if you're interested in it as an investor, do your homework on the business and decide how much of the money you want to deploy at first. If you haven't bought anything, nibble and then see where the market takes it. There is no intrinsic value, as they say. There's no meat on the bone. It's all hope in the future. You're buying hope. So you need to research how realistic that hope is. Can it go to zero? These are the kind of stocks that can go to zero. So don't be averaging down. Averaging down doesn't work on these. Averaging in is what I would do with these. There's no way you should average down on anything ever, let alone a company like this. But if you say, I have $2,000 to put in OKLO and you put 500 at a time, that's okay. You're not averaging down. Speaking of ONON, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Falling into support, rebound possible, base of 30 and another sub base of 26 and a backup support somewhere around 22, 23. So this should give you a relative strength. So I wouldn't, just like Nike, this one is hold with conviction and nibble if you wanted to own it for the long term. I own two pairs of their shoes and people love them. For me, they're okay. I mean, they're not pretty, but people think they're pretty, so I guess that's okay. Aesthetically, they're not my favorite, but they are comfortable. Oxy, falling into a well-consolidated zone. That's the good news. The bad news is that the zone extends from 36 to 8. Is this the right one? When was it at 8? What? Wow. Let me show you these markings that we've had. Okay, so let's forget that. Let's go with my comments from before. Finally met my target, now 45. This is months ago. I don't remember putting these marks. But it better hold. Look what I said. Now 45 equals support, but it better hold, else it opens another trap door. Guess what just happened? 45 was lost. Opened another trap door. These comments are months old. I don't even remember when I did them. Probably last year in October. Or December. So we're in a free fall, so to speak. So you look left and you go, where is the support? You have it, but it's all over the place. 37 looks pretty strong, and 35. So if somebody wants to own the stock as an investment, okay, this is your chance. Rewind. This was a battle zone for me in the media, in social media, and with everybody. What was happening up here? Warren Buffett was loading up his on Oxy, and I told people that whoever is buying it up here, they're going to be stuck here for decades. That's what I said. Look at it. It's less than half of what it was up there. We can't trade like Warren Buffett. Okay, we're not whales. He buys companies. Okay, we're not the same. This is a good business. It's been a while. It's been around for a while. Management, I believe, is okay. So sell the rally mode if I'm a trader. Sellers at 57.50 and higher. If you clear 70, you can burst to 90. But we're talking like that's a pipe dream for now. Short term, you're looking for support, and I mentioned those two levels. They're too old, so they're not sharp. Paycom, yeah. Well, it's in support and it's trying to hold it. And if it loses it, it goes to 175. I wouldn't touch it. Again, those are investors that they have a good P&L and they chose to sell it to hell. And then they wake up and no, it's worth 240. No, it's worth 130. No, it's worth 240. Screw you. I'll put my money somewhere else where you don't want to be investing alongside of these people. Look at that. 400 at one point. My God, with a P&L like this, if your conviction is to buy it at 400, why would you sell it at 120, 130? That's just insane. So short-term levels, sellers at 209, sellers at 214. You can get a bounce. I would use the bounce to exit if you're a trader. If not, just hold. If you break 228, you get some relief. Okay, PENN. Oh my gosh. So this is a company that actually has a brick and mortar business and has a good P&L, and it's selling like it's going out of business. I'm intrigued. I'm going to put it on my to-do list to look into it. Like, what is going on? We're in the pandemic. Like, the world was closed and the price was slightly lower than here. Might be an invest for the long term and forget about it. Like, buy a few shares and forget about it. This was a hard bounce from before. You might get a bounce, whether here or a little bit lower, up to 1850. Palantir, it's still not cheap enough for me. I promise you, for me, it's not cheap enough. Great company, great income growth, but it's still too expensive from the... I would love to see the metric this week as price to sales. Is it still in the 50s? Probably is. I don't know how often they update them here, but let's go statistic here. Price to sales. 75. 10 times, well, let's not put... it's still like 3 times more expensive, if not 4, than NVIDIA, maybe 3. Price to sales, and it does not grow as fast as NVIDIA. Well, it does, maybe, but NVIDIA is a much more profitable company. So, good company. I think the stock is vulnerable. You see, this area is not well consolidated. So if the stock market continues to slide, this one will be in the 60s. Then it would make a good bargain. However, if somebody sells a put to buy it in the 60s and 50s, that would be good. Also, there's the risk of the government. If indeed half its business is from the government, what if the government cuts its contract? I don't know anything about that part. So sell the RIP for now as a trade. Buy the dip is doable, only half position. I'm going to put it on my to-do list as well. It's a good company. It's on my watch list. PayPal, I don't want to invest. Yesterday, I cussed them out so bad. I can't stand doing business with them, and I do heavy business with them. I cannot stand it. They're impossible to get a hold of them. If you need help with anything, there's no help. Even their AI chat doesn't allow you to put words. It pulls up questions that it thinks you have, and if you have another question, you're screwed. There's no text you can enter for a search or anything. It's really frustrating. But they are... So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. When we had the slide in 2022, the correction that lasted 10 months, this one would not find a floor. It was selling off with Bitcoin. We figured it out. So this time it's not selling off with Bitcoin. This time it's just selling off into its earnings report. Good Lord. So it becomes a bargain at this deal, at this level, from a mathematical perspective. I mean, this looks support. And here's the kicker. If you lose 50, 32 becomes a target. Like, what kind of world is it where PayPal is in the 30s? So this might make a good lottery ticket on earnings that are coming up in 24 days. Maybe a call diagonal of sorts. I mean, maybe they're selling it off because Elon had something to do with starting the company. You think? Are they that stupid? Maybe. Let's see, since they think they're selling Tesla for that reason too. I'm going to put it on my watch list for now. Okay. RBA. Wow, what is this? Royal Bank of what? Is it? I don't know what this is. Good trend. Holy cow. That is a good trend. Rally by the dip, rally by the dip. Well, from that perspective, 90 and 86, 87, good support zones, even better support zone at 82. So that's a good investor Fairly consistent, unfazed. Yes, they're down a lot, but you have support and backup support. So the only problem that I see with this one is a potential disappointment on the next rally. Like if this one, they cannot take out 96 or 97, they are susceptible to do this. And then you would ask yourself, are we topping like the market topped? Are we topping? That's the question. That's not a statement. It's a question for now. RBLX. Potential downside into 48 is doable. 45 is doable, but that would be better support. 44, 45 should be really good support. I am long RBLX on the dip the first time it fell. To be honest, I don't remember what it's like. It's under fire. The sold put is 30, so it's starting to glow orange. No, make that 40. That number is wrong. Credit put spread for April at the money right now. So I will have to triage that. This is the kind of stock that is easy to get out of on a credit put spread. I can close it for a partial loss and move on, or close it and relocate it in a place where it's slower and still have the same trade. I will post what I'll do with it. But I'm tempted to stay in it and close it on a rebound. So if we get a move up to 56, consider closing it, even for a partial loss. I would reset the trade lower. Like I would rather be short a put in the 40s than being short a put spread up here. So maybe that's a solution. So if I had 5 credit put spreads and it cost me $500-600 to close, I would sell 1 put down here or 2 to recover my initial investment. 2 puts, maybe 1 or 2 puts will give me the amount of money that I had to make up the difference. So anyway, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. When the market opens, I can get you exacts, and if I do it, I'll share it. Reddit. Not a bad investment to start. It's a mystery. It's pretty young, but the business is not a mystery. The sales are growing really, really fast. I don't care about the profitability. So if I missed the IPO, this is my chance to nibble on shares. So if I bought 100 shares, I can sell aggressive calls after a rebound. That would be my statement on Reddit. If somebody is looking to build a portfolio for the long term of stocks, and one of the stocks they wanted is Reddit, 2 ways you can do it. You can buy shares, multiple ways, but the 2 ways I like. You buy shares and you sell aggressive calls, but that commits you to owning 100. Or you sell a put under duress. So somebody panics and buys a put from you. So you're committing to buying shares at a much lower price. Not to give out any specific advice here. Get to me during the day, and I'll give you what I would consider for me, my portfolio, my risk appetite, what I would do with it. So risk appetites vary. So there's not one solution that fits everything. Like if I'm not an active trader, wouldn't I, what's wrong with owning the stock at 55, right? 55 is down here, the base from last August. Would you believe it that somebody would almost pay you $1,000 on Friday to buy their shares at 55? That's a real number. I'm giving you a real number. On Friday, had I paid attention, I could have sold puts in this thing for about $1,000 to own. So that means I break even at 45, which is the all-time low. Well, since its inception. So people panic. So Reddit is on my to-do list right now. Restoration Hardware, definitely not on my to-do list. Did you hear the holy crap moment for the CEO? He's doing the conference call and he looks at his stock and he goes, oh shit. So yeah, painful reaction to the earnings. So I don't know what they said, but sometimes the CEOs like to throw the kitchen sink inside of a bad quarter. They'll say, okay, people are freaking out. We better throw all the bad news in one quarter so we can underpromise and overdeliver. Well, they over-delivered bad news, so the market freaked out. Oversold, maybe, but that doesn't mean I go in. Find out exactly what spooked the market. Like, it can't be just a soft forecast. And if it is, then that's an investor you don't want to be invested in. They don't have any conviction. Now, if I'm long, it's too late to panic, clearly, even though I don't have an absolute floor. During the pandemic, it was much slower, but that's during the pandemic. So this is the base from before the pandemic, the breakout base. That was an all-time high before the pandemic, so it's not like a bargain basement price. Rallies are being sold, I think. So if I'm long and in pain and I double down and it comes back to 180, I would be out at a loss. Rio Tinto. I don't know the business. The P&L looks okay. I don't know why they would trigger the loss of this support zone. Now we have to look back to November of 2022, which was the bottom of the stock market back then. So maybe this one will bottom first before the stock market. There is support from the Friday candle, 54, and backup support from 52 and 51, but that dates back to 2022. So the danger is that the 60 level becomes concrete on the way back up. 60, 62, what's it going to take to break that? And if that's not the case, then we're relegated to be below that, right? So the propensity to drift lower would be then tremendous. If I bought the dip, let's hope I sold puts to make room for more downside, or I took half of a position. So I can manage that. Sentinel, let's delete whatever I had here. One second. Okay, Sentinel, I forgot the question that you guys had. This stock is falling in a hard bounce area that's been consolidated several times before. If I'm an investor in this stock, I am not shaken out. If I wanted to invest in this stock, this is not a bad starting price. In fact, I'll put it on my to-do list. Anybody can educate me real quick as to what they do real quick. Endpoint security software that detects models and predicts threat behavior. Okay, this is a pretty good base. So let's say I wanted to invest in this stock and I take half my position, and then let's say it collapses and it goes to 10 or 9. I'll dump the other half. With this kind of P&L, I mean, how much of a risk is that? As long as I'm not risking a large portion of my portfolio. Very interesting stock. I will check it out next week. I do like it. Thanks for submitting it. So if I'm long the stock, I am not panicked here. If I bought it at 29, you know, I don't know your situation. Is it okay to add here? I mean, I don't know. If you took all in, then I wouldn't add at all. I don't know this one. Falling into a support zone, 240, 220, 200, 180, and 167. All these are support zones. Turnarounds, 263. Looks pretty good. 265. The sharp bounce might meet some sellers at 340 through 389. Wide base, yes, but that's what it is. I'll give you more sharper numbers. 344 sellers. 365. If you clear 386, you might get to 420 on the way up. So use rallies to fix your problems, I guess. I don't know what this is. Safe bulkers. Okie doke. Learning all kinds of tickers today. You don't know what this is. This P&L is whacked out of its mind. What do these guys do? Provision International Marine Dry Bulk Transportation. Oh, that's why. Is this DRYS? Anybody remember that stock? The all-time high is like $500 million. They keep reverse splitting so they don't disappear. Is this the same here? Reverse split everywhere? Just one right there. Is that it? Why is there two earnings things next to each other here? Suspect. Anyway, this is something I would never get engaged in. You're inside of a zone from 2023 that extends through 2.8, and a backup zone. A number is 262. A number to note. If you're an active trader, that might mean something to you. 260, 262, and 250. On the way back up, anything above 334 is going to be near impossible. That's enough time on this one. Who is this? Schwab US Dividend Equity. What is this? Does this mimic the SPY? Okay, so whatever I say about the SPY applies here. Yeah, this is the SPY. So we are correcting. Rallies into 27 will be sold hard. Rallies into 27.3 or 27.5 are shortable. And we might end up at 24 or 23. That means that I'm saying that, yes, the stock market can go down another 15% with no issues. Shopify. This is like PayPal. during the correction in 2022 after the pandemic rally top. This one slid lower and lower and lower. It wouldn't stop. So in this case, it's falling into a good base. Unfortunately, the base extends all the way to 50 and it's still 77. Why? Because of this stupid rally. The PNL did not improve as much as the price, so it's still vulnerable. I am a sell the rally mode on this guy. If you are lucky to get down up to 90 or 95 and that bails you out of a bad trade, like if you got long at 95 and it goes to 90, I would seriously consider cutting that trade to size. There is a bounce coming, probably targeting 90, 92. Above that, it's going to be difficult. Support is everywhere, but nowhere recent. You're losing the support from recent. Now you have to look at September of last year. So numbers from that. Oh, we already touched those. Below that, this candle is wacko. So 62 or lower becomes really better, much better support. 62 or lower. You have support here. They're using it. If this fails this week, 62 or lower. I wouldn't mind selling puts to own shares, but I don't believe in the chart as much. Silver, I told you it's not a long. I may have saved somebody's account, right? You know who you are. Silver has been lagging gold for a while, and people who are trading silver quasi chasing gold got caught. These red squiggles on my charts are bearish. The one most recent has been played out to target 3. This one, the larger N, that's just target 2, not even. Target 2 is 26. So this can fall to 26 or 23.5 and still be okay. I do like trading silver through the SLV. It's really liquid. And you do have support at 26. So what I'm wondering is how much conviction they have in the rallies. So I can tell you that there's going to be sellers above. Let's see if we can pin them right here. That is 28.80. I'll make this one official. $29.70 or higher. So it's a short at 30, basically. These support zones become resistance on the way up. This one I can put here. That's an area of sellers as well. And the support zone from back there is still here. Okay. Oh, look at that. The targets from before, which they overshot. This was one target from before. They came close. They didn't finish it. They're coming close to it again. This was the other target. These two targets are still in effect. That purple thing up here can still give you a visual as to where the risk lies. So inside this box, there's a bunch of buyers, which is a target zone. So these two say the same thing. It's too late to short. And if you wanted to short it, short the rally. And if you bought the dip, exit on rallies. SOFI. I had the comments on SOFI. So the last time I went long SOFI for the group, it was under $5. And up at 10 or higher, actually up at 15 or higher, I got bombarded with questions. Is it too late to go long SOFI? I want to go long SOFI. Is it good to sell a put? And I said, no, not until it's in the single digits. Well, now it is. No questions about SOFI before today. So SOFI is a long from a chart perspective, is a long from an investment perspective. So SOFI would make my list of things to buy for an investment. So how does one buy shares? You can buy get into a stock. You can buy shares. You can sell puts. Combination of those two, buying calls, stock replacement, stock alternative strategy, synthetic stock they call it. They all work with this stock. So my concern is a consumer blowing up And is there a debt problem? How exposed they are. So do your homework on if they carry their own debt or do they sell it at the back end. And if they do sell it at the back end, the loans they put out, what if that market dries up? Will they be out of, like Upstart? You know what? I'm going to interrupt us and do Upstart. I've been vindicated, unfortunately. Hopefully people did not get shellacked. Okay. So back to base. The base is wide. It could be here. It could be 7.5. So since we don't know where it's going to be, small bites. But this one will bounce. We'll find resistance at 10.5, at 11. 11 is going to be probably the biggest resistance. Nice round number. And we'll make that resistance R. And then we'll put another line here and another line here. Okay. As a trade, I would be exiting above this one. Above 11, I would be looking for exits. See, this one is like the market. I don't know what you're asking me. I don't trade the SOXL. I don't trade 3X and 2X tickers. Why? Because Wall Street cheats. And this is how they cheat. They can cheat inside this ticker and you wouldn't even know it. Not for me. And I would rather trade the SPY instead of this one, or the SMH, or the XLK, or the Qs. So in this case, if you lose 3.5, you're going to minus. So explain that to me, right? This is pretty crazy. I don't touch tickers like that. So go to a weekly chart and see how crazy this thing is. It just doesn't make sense. Look, a reverse split here, or a split. Anyway, so split 15-1. Reverse split most likely. Anyway, not for me. Is this one also accelerated? No. Okay, so this one looks a little bit better. Bounce coming, hopefully, from a base of 145, if not a base of 130. I would use the bounce to exit because everything above 190 is going to be much more difficult to overcome. 210 would be a short. SQ. Did you mean that or square? I don't do sub $1 stocks. STLA. Stellantis. So falling into past all supports, falling into really old pandemic levels, and unfortunately it extends through $6. So if I'm an investor already in the stock, I'm not doing anything because you lost all supports and now you're just drifting. Yeah, that's what I meant. So it's probably later. Support is old, so hang on to it. I wouldn't add. MicroStrategy. What are these tickers you guys are bringing me here? What is this? 8%, 8. No, don't do this stuff. What is this? Yeah, okay, I'll say that it's in support and you can bounce to 88. I would exit at 88. If you lose the support, it goes to 77. Moving on. Symbolic. Robotics. If robotics are the thing, maybe this one is to buy. The sales are through the roof. Maybe it gets bought out. If I sold the put to own shares, I wouldn't back out. I would just own the shares. I wouldn't add. Zoom out. Okay, there's a hard buyer inside this one weekly candle that extends below 15, unfortunately, but why would they go anywhere below that? So from that perspective, it's a hold the stock down below if you believe in this company in the future. So if I bought some shares recently, I'm not doing anything. If I wanted to buy some shares as an investment, I would nibble now, half the position. If it rallies, great, I'm in. If it doesn't and it falls like catastrophe, like down to 12 or single digits, then I'll add the second half and I would be into a robotics company for the future. That's how I would deal with it. One way you can expedite that is by selling puts to own shares. I do remember sending one trade in that because it came by request. In this case, I would say, if I'm an investor, I would go out to November and sell a put at 10. Somebody will pay you $100 to buy their shares at 10, so you break even at 9. So that's a way to say, okay, I would like to buy it, but at 9. So you sell a put and you wait to get put the stock at 9. You have to wait until November, but at least you're engaged. Don't ever sell a put in the stock you don't want to own. AT&T, this one has miles to fall, and I mean it. I mean it. Like this one can be 21. Okay? I don't understand this obsession with the stock. The business sucks in the sense where, like, if you're their client, you're never happy. I'm never happy. Never one time did I ever do business on any level, cell phones, streaming, anything. And I was happy with their service. But it's a cash cow. It's a monster of a company. I believe it's heavily in debt. And these are levels from 2020. These are levels from 2016. These are levels from 2008 and maybe even 1999. Yep, 1997. So not great. Technically, you're in danger of a dip. Just like GE. Same comments I have for GE. This one can fall to 25, and it wouldn't be that crazy. In fact, it's crazy if they don't. It's crazy if they don't go to 23 soon. That's how badly this chart is. I wouldn't want to short it because I'm clearly emotional about it, so I don't trade those emotional stocks. No, I wouldn't touch this. If I were to touch it, it would be I buy a put in the money for months out, and if I lose a few $100, I lose it. If not, I make a few $1,000 and that'll be it. Kind of like what I did with Berkshire. Except with Berkshire, I did sell calls because it's a bigger stock and it has premium. And this one, it's not. I buy a put. It's relatively cheap. If it works, it works. Target, the opposite of AT&T. Great business, falling into hell. So go figure, right? This crazy market. The business is fine. You still have a lot of social media, this and that. You see that giant green M here on a weekly basis? That's a long-term bounce coming. It's repeating itself. This one is still valid until you lose 60. It's 61. So there's an entry between here and 65, which means what? It's fallen into a support zone. And sadly enough, the support is from 2020, so it's a few years old. So it's a cushion rather than a hard line in the sand. If you're looking for hard lines, they did touch it. 90 is a hard line. So if you were waiting for an entry in target, you got your opportunity. So these are not opportunities of a generation, okay? These are just opportunities because we don't know where the market is. Remember the first picture I showed you, perspective, the SPX is still not cheap. Yeah. Tesla. Tesla is an emotional trade, irrational trade. I'm long Tesla, making money on it for the group. I shared it. But long at, what is it, 90? I think so. We sold puts at 90. Somebody panicked on the day it fell 14%. So as a car company, I think it could be 150 and be no issues. As a technology company, it could be $1,000. So don't ever short Tesla unless you're trading point A to point B, because he will come out with a headline eventually that says, I'm going to be making money from selling ... If it's not a car, that's a new source of income that piles on to the cash flow that they have. And remember, this is the company that generates cash right now. I live in Southern California. There are more Teslas around me than Toyotas. It's crazy. And like they're everywhere. So it is a successful business. And I cannot believe people make business decisions based on hate of a person perspective. So perception is that people are selling their cars. I don't think they are. I think they're just, I mean, what are you going to buy? A gas guzzler? If you bought a Tesla because you wanted to save the environment, you're going to buy a gas guzzler. Anyway, it doesn't make sense. We're waiting on that stupid headline. Oh yeah, I'm going to be selling robots on, and I don't think anybody will believe him, but the stock will still rally. Now, technically speaking, you better hold 214. Otherwise, you're going to that 180, 170, 160. Take out 292, you go to 330. So it does have buyers, and they better step up. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not going to do that. Everything I said about Tesla applies here, except here the number is 6.8. Why are you doing this? Tesla not fast enough for you? You want to double it? Oh, it pays a dividend? Is that why? Sell covered calls. You make your own dividend. 8 cents. TSM. So this one is a blind buy, right? No, it isn't, because it's got so many other things going on. The company is as strong as they make a company. Look at this P&L. It's amazing. The management is amazing, but they do have that Taiwan tied to it. So there's always controversy over the headline from Taiwan, China, the US, exports, tariff. It's got like all these negative things against it. So I personally wouldn't touch it without extreme safety. Like if you tell me, oh, would you buy it at 105? Okay, maybe I will. So, but until then, I think if it's rallying, the S&P is rallying. So I don't want any Taiwan issues with it. Okay. So it's a great company though. TTD, my worst trade in a long time. I'm stuck in it at 50, I believe, or 55. So I may have to book a $700 loss. I'm waiting. I'm wishing they assign me the shares so I can sell them right away and book my loss and move on, and maybe sell or I can roll it down to 45 and middle of maybe March of next year to slow the trade down so I don't get assigned. Honestly, the business is great, P&L wise. The rally was fast, so I'm not confident of the floor below, although there are buyers at 40, 41, 42. If those buyers disappear, it'll be like 30 or 28. So just so you be aware of that. If I do get assigned shares, I did say it was a starting position and I wanted to hold on to the shares, then I would sell aggressive calls to break me even. So if I get assigned at 55 and the stock is at 49, I would be, I need to see the numbers, but I would think I can sell a $50 call with confidence below my price. So this way, if it rallies back to my price, I get called away at 50 and lose $2. I'd be happy with that. These are estimates because the scenario is fictitious so far. The business is fine. It's just, this is target 3 of 3, by the way, on that red W. Unity. Good support where it's at, better support into 14. So if you're an investor in this one, there's nothing to do here. Next time it goes to 28, you might want to consider my advice in getting rid of it. A lot of resistance at 22, more at 24. They could be seeking 27. We'll see. Uber, good support zone where it's at. Backup support zone into 59. Back up to the backup into 55. 54, 55 should be bulletproof. However, I'm leery of the situation below that, like this. What happened there? So 50 looks like a nice round number and a ledge right there. In other words, they overdid it on the downside, they overdid it on the upside. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth, and somewhere in the middle is around 50, 48. So if you twist my arm and you said sell a $45 put in Uber as a starting position, I would say, okay, maybe I would start with a credit put spread. So I'll put it on my to-do list. If we're shopping, it might be one I would pay attention to. Earnings are in a 24-day period. USO, I don't know. I told you, I don't know why anyone is long USO. I think I did that last Sunday. I said I would not be long anything oil because this government said it wants to demolish oil prices, right? So here we go. 2 days later, this thing is outpaced the market down. We're inside of a support zone at 66 and 64. You lose that, you go to 55 or 57. If I was the president of the United States and I wanted to actually fix inflation, I would definitely say my target for oil is $38, and I'm not going to stop pumping until we get there. guess what happens? Everybody will get an increase in spending. Everything will get cheaper because everything touches diesel. And if we can drop the price of diesel, delivery, production, transport, digging, everything gets cheaper. It puts margins will like if there is a tariff, now you've got an offset on your margins as a company that is hit by tariffs. I'm just speculating. Of course, I'm not an economist, but that's the concept, right? It's not that crazy to do. The VIX, you put it in here. I'm not sure what you want me to say. I got you in at 15 or 14 and a half. My job is done. The rest is on you. If you bought it for a trade, which I did, I would be out, which I am. So I have literally one left because for giggles, and it's free. It's been free. We paid $390. I think they were $800, maybe $1,400, some of them. So they were huge wins. Now, if you bought it as protection for your portfolio, and I think they're doing their job, you might want to leave some on. I know it's very tempting. So if I take them off, it's because I feel okay on buying them back in a few days to reset them. But I don't know your portfolio. As a trade, I mean, I couldn't have given you an easier win than this one. Drop the microphone and walk away. Now, the same logic that got me into it will get me shorting it. What do you mean? Well, when it goes low beyond belief, then how far lower can it go? That was the concept. We sold puts and put spreads to buy calls. Why not sell a call spread at the money a month out? Like, how long are we going to be freaked out? Even if we continue sliding. So let's go to the 2022-3, whereas 2021. 2022, the start of 2022, right here. So start of 2022, we had a correction that lasted 10 months. The VIX peaked in the beginning of the correction. So if I sell a credit call spread and I collect $200 and risk $300, wouldn't I win in the next few months? That's the kind of thought. I may deploy one on Monday. We'll see. Vodafone. Credit call spread. Never sell naked calls on the VIX. Credit call spread. It's an index. It's cash settled. There's no assignment. There's no dividend. There's no nothing. Vodafone. Okay, back to base. The base extends through 8. Don't lose 8. You lose 8, you go to 740. On the way up, you're going to find sellers at 9.2 and 9.6. WBA. The name flows right off the tongue. Walgreens Boots Alliance. Just flows. It's so easy. I'm being sarcastic, of course. What kind of a... Okay. I said for years I wouldn't touch the stock. The business is fine and it's falling off a cliff. What do they know that we don't? Now, in 2 days, they report earnings. They might be at 28. I have no idea. They could be at 6. So from here on out, if you're trading based on a lot of guessing in the next few days. So if you can survive that guess, kudos. I don't trade into guessing because I feel like I could do better after the fact, at the risk of missing out a good trade. So if you're an investor, you're crossing your fingers. So I don't cross my fingers. I want something a little bit more concrete than just crossing my fingers. It does seem like they have found the bottom, but you could have said that up here as well, and it wasn't the bottom. So if 850 is a bottom, then hold it through the earnings. Maybe you'll get a pop to 15, and then I would exit. WULF. TeraWulf, not Wolf Speed. Okay. Wow. Accelerated sales. Owns and operates fully integrated environmental clean Bitcoin mining facility. Oh, yeah. Okay. I would not touch any stock that is attached to Bitcoin. If I wanted to trade those, I would trade Bitcoin itself. Period. End of story. Or Ethereum, because then I don't have to worry about the business of this company. At least this company has an income. So it's inside of a base. The base is 2.3 through 1.9. So if that's your goal to enter there, that's great. If not, enter around 1 or 1.2. You might get a bounce up to 2.5 from there. So buy the dip is what I would do. Wow, you guys are coming up with some tickers that are doozies. Who is this? Acquisition, management, ownership of contracted clean energy project. Blech. Okay. Boy, business is great, it looks like. No. The sales are okay and the stock is going to zero. What's going on there? As an investor, you should do your homework and find out exactly what the prospect is, because Wall Street says it's going to zero. That's how they're treating it. So this looks like a support until it's not. This looked like a support and it wasn't. So was this, so was that. So why isn't it at 6 or 11? That looks like gambling to me. Do your homework on the stock. It seems like it has sales, but why is it not stopping the falling? Weird. Ripple. Okay, so Ripple ticker is not XRP for you. It is XRP USD. If you type in XRP, you get the market cap of XRP. I'm long Ripple from 48 cents. I'm not closing it. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're an investor, you just buy a little bit at a time, like gold. You have a floor at 1.7. If you lose that, you go to 1.3, 1.2. Zscaler, a stock that runs fast in both directions, like really fast in both directions. I did warn people to not be long of late, and I don't short it, of course. I'm looking for areas to buy the dip. These are targets from way before, but they avoided them. So support is old. October of last year. The fact that you lost 184 says you could go to 162, 160 with no issues. And maybe bounces become opportunities to exit. So I want to use rallies to fix my problems, because we can do this. We can. I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of sellers. There's going to be a lot of sellers up here. Okay. All right. And with that, it's a wrap.